Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I have something a little bit different for y'all today. I have applied for the Hip Kit design team, and this is the layout I created for the call. It took me 54 minutes to complete, and I actually got my inspiration from somewhere a little different. I was looking up different color palettes to try to figure out what colors I wanted to pull out for my October stash kit, and I saw this one that had these hearts down the side, so it immediately made me think, okay, that would be awesome to have just the hearts lining the side. And I had this um, heart sketch, like they look like sketched hearts, paper. It was just a scrap, and I was like, oh, this would be perfect. So I did not use the colors that were in this picture. It was just a picture I found on Pinterest, but I did use the papers that I pulled out for my October stash kit. So first, since I now want to do the hearts, I'm going to pull those out. I had two different pictures at first, and I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, but I very quickly chose this one of Ernest and I. It's a kind of a washed out looking photo, like the colors are a little bit strange on it. The lighting's a little bit weird. We're actually in a gymnasium watching Kaylin's basketball team practice. Actually, I think it was a game. So the colors aren't very great, but I love this picture. Ernest is not really happy with it, but I like it. And so, it's my scrapbook. I'm going to scrapbook what I want to scrapbook. So first I'm just cutting out the hearts. I'm going to lay them on the side, and I still don't know what paper I wanted to use as my background. So I'm going to kind of lay it out a bit, and then finagle, play a little bit with the different papers and see which one looks best. Creating quite a pile of trash over here to the left side of the screen, which I'll clean up in just a minute. I like this paper. I don't think I used it at all as a piece of paper. I think I cut every single heart out of it. I had a couple sheets of 8.5 by 11, a couple of 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper for this one, of the same design. So I think I cut every single heart out of it. So let me apologize for a minute for my voice. I'm having some serious allergy sinus issues. So I sound a bit froggy because I am a bit froggy, and I'm just trying to get rid of it. But I've had it for about a week and I can't seem to kick it. So I have to move on with my life and continue on. So, anyways, that is what it is. I pulled out this corrugated paper. It's from Fancy Pants, and I think the color is actually called Coral. And it was damaged a bit in the packaging, so it was not an exact 12 by 12. So I already knew from the beginning that I was going to cut this paper up. I was not going to use it as a whole piece of 12 by 12 because it wasn't. So I first matted my photo on this glossy, bright blue, bold color. I wanted to add a bit more color to the photo since it was so washed out looking. And then I matted that on this corrugated coral piece of paper. Yeah, coral corrugated piece of paper by Fancy Pants. There you go. I cut it out. And then I have some of these scrap pieces of vellum, and they have these hearts on them. And I'm going to use that on my layout at the bottom. I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to put it, so I'll play around with it a bit, move it around. So my problem with this layout is that I had this perfect image in my brain, and I just couldn't seem to make it translate to the page. Well, I mean, I did, but it took me a little bit. It took me 54 minutes to scrapbook this page. I'm actually a pretty fast scrapper. I don't add tons and tons and tons of embellishment. I love the way that looks, but I just can never seem to get it right on my own layouts. So my layouts are definitely embellished, but they're not overly embellished like you see some people do, which I think is lovely, but it's just not my style. So 54 minutes is about average for me. I don't typically do super long videos. I try to keep my videos anywhere between 10 and like 17 minutes. Sometimes I get them as short as like 7 or 8 minutes, but I do fast forward my videos times 4, and I don't really cut out a lot. You see what you see is what I do. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess we'll say. Not that any of it's really that ugly, but you see the process. Because to me, that's what these are. These are process videos. You get to see my struggles, and you can learn from my struggles or laugh at my struggles, whichever makes you happy. Such as this, where I'm sitting here trying to figure out exactly what alphas I want to use. So my title is True Happiness, and I wanted to use these Doodlebug design letters for the true part, but then I had a difficult time finding an alpha that had the correct letters in for the happiness. So I'll pull out this set of thickers, and they're kind of a doodled looking design. I really like them, but I found next to the Doodlebug stickers, they were not a true white. So I end up changing the Doodlebug stickers that say true and using a silver foil alpha, and then I do use these kind of doodled looking thickers for the happiness part. I really like the way that they look. I did get those at Tuesday morning though, so you know some of the thickers are older and the adhesive stuck to the back, and so I end up having to glue those down with some Tombow Mono, which is perfectly fine. I'd rather ensure that they are sticky and secure and don't have to worry about them ever falling off. So that's exactly what I do here. This is where I decide, okay, well, I'm going to take the Doodlebug design stickers off and use that silver foil alpha that I pulled out a second ago. But first I need to put the happiness back down so I know exactly where to put down the true part. I'm going to add these blue resin flowers. I have had them floating around my craft room for quite some time. I believe they came in a Studio Calico kit, probably 2 years ago. Yeah, probably about 2 years ago. And I really like them. They're very dimensional, and sometimes I have a bit of a difficult time figuring out how to use the really dimensional things, but they looked really nice on this background. This background is a nice bright blue. It's a solid cardstock. However, it's not just a normal cardstock. I think it's actually considered to be a pattern paper because there's a different color on the back side, and it does have a texture to it. And I believe that was made by SEI. I cut off the branding strip at the beginning, so I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was SEI. I think it came in a collection kit I got from them a couple years ago when I was at a scrapbook expo. But I found that the washed out photo really popped against the coral colors on the ribbon and the corrugated paper and in the blue background. I just think it's so pretty. And then, of course, the hearts are really highlighted on the background as well, since they really contrast against the blue background. I really love how this layout turned out. I believe it's probably one of my favorites. Honestly, I can honestly say I think I am very, very pleased with about 95% of my layouts. Every once in a while I get one where I'm like, I could have done that a little bit differently. I don't ever throw out layouts when they're complete, but if I'm not happy with them in the process, I will scrap it and totally start over. These photos, I never use an original that I don't have a copy of, so I have no problem reprinting photos if I need to. I don't think I've ever actually reprinted a photo. I have definitely ripped a photo off of a background and started over, but I don't think I've ever actually thrown away a photo. But I have no problem. If I need to do that, I'm cool with that. I can always reprint. I've pulled out this small doily. It's about, I think it's a 4-inch doily. I'm sitting here looking at it. It's not 6 inches, so it's got to be about 4 inches. And I was going to trim it off the side, but instead of having to worry about gluing down the edges of where I trim it, I'm just going to fold it around to the back. It'll just make sure that it's secure and that it's not going to move around. I have glued down my hearts here on the left, and then I'm also going to add a bit of this silver adhesive tape. It's not washi tape, but it's just silver adhesive tape, actually. That's what we're going to call that. So I just wanted to add another silver element since I have the silver foil stickers for the true part of my title, and then also the hearts are that silver foil on that vellum piece. See here, the background of this paper is, or not the background, the back side of this paper is more of a sea foamy color. Sorry, I think my brain has stopped working along with my nose. I'm not sure. So I'm committing here, gluing it down, we're good to go. And this is where I mentioned before, I'm just going to fold this doily around the back. It really keeps it secure, and I really like the fact that I didn't have to go down and glue around the edges there to keep it down. Doilies, you can tend to see the glue through them just because they're so thin, and the glue, if it's wet at all, it's going to make it ripple. So I liked finding an alternative way to glue this down without having to have any of the adhesive showing. Though I am going to add a little bit of an embellishment cluster on top of it, so I probably could have. It probably wouldn't have mattered. I am playing around with my LE Studio little bag of embellishments here. It's my favorite. If you've been watching my videos, you will know that because I have been using this, I think, since I got it. I think I pull it out probably in just about every layout to see if there's anything in there that I can use. And typically there is, at least one or two items. I'm looking through all the different embellishments I pulled out on my desk here to see what, tickles my fancy and I want to try on here. I like this gray family banner, but it was not quite the right gray. It had more brown tones in it, so I quickly decided that that is not going to work. I will go ahead and read my journaling to you. I have a small journaling spot up to the left of the layout, but it's not going to stay there, and I'm going to change that. But what it does say, so this layout was really about Ernest and I, but also what was going on. So true happiness, I just love this photo of us because we're both just having fun, enjoying watching our son play basketball. And he loves basketball. He's 4. Basketball is like his life at the moment, and this was the first time that he was actually on a team. He finally was old enough to join the YMCA basketball team. So he was just having a ball playing on this basketball team. So the journaling is simple. It just says, watching our boy do what he loves, play basketball. So it's kind of a double meaning to the title, showing us, that we're truly happy, but also the fact that he is just so happy playing basketball. This layout is going to go in my album next to the photos of him practicing and playing basketball, so it's going to make a lot more sense when it's actually lined up in the album with the photos or the other layouts that go with this same event. I like to tell a little bit about my family and the background of the photos in the layout whenever I'm doing my process videos. I think it gives you guys a bit more understanding of what I scrap and why I scrapbook, but also, it kind of explains the layout some, why I include certain elements and don't include other elements, or why I do certain things. Well, in my mind anyways, it does. So this is where I'm going to actually add the journaling spot, and I'm going to pull out a Project Life card from these LE Studio cards. I got these last month in my haul, so if you haven't seen my August haul video, please go back and take a look at that. And I just trimmed the last 2 blocks off of this card, this 3x4 card. It was the right kind of pinky corally color, and so it fit perfectly with this. I'm just going to layer it right here, right under my right on top of my doily under my photo, and I'm going to cut out one of these little hearts that's kind of going off the page to layer on top of that. And then I'm almost done with this layout. I'm just adding a few more things, and basically the last thing I'm going to add are a few pieces of silver sequins, and that'll pretty much finish out my layout. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm kind of interrupting my normally scheduled videos here. Typically, all the videos that I have going up in September are actually with my September kit, but this one is a little bit different, and I am doing it specifically for the Hip Kit design team call. It would be lovely if I was chosen to do this, and I would definitely share all those videos with you if I am. But anyways, thanks for joining me today, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Also, hey, check out the Hip Kit design team call if you're interested in it. I think it closes on the 15th of September. But anyways, thanks again. Enjoy your day, and happy scrapping. Bye.